There's a certain masculine energy that doesn't need to bark, shout, or threaten, because it is already felt without words, already seen without performance. It's the kind of energy that carries a man with a quiet presence, a composed, unbothered calm that can enter a room and shift the entire atmosphere, not by force, not by demanding attention, but by refusing to be controlled by the environment around him. It is an energy rooted so deeply in self-awareness and emotional sovereignty that it never seeks to prove its worth to anyone, least of all to a woman, because it understands that respect is not something begged for or explained. It is felt in the very core of a man who knows who he is and what he will and will not allow in his life. It is the energy that creates the silent, unshakable boundaries that stop a woman from playing games, not because he punishes her or tries to outmanipulate her, but because he never gave her permission to treat him like a toy in the first place. Feminine energy will always test. It is the nature of feminine energy to seek, to move, to stir, to challenge, to feel your edge, to see if you will bend under the pressure of her emotional waves, or if you will remain standing, calm, steady, and unmovable. But a man without a calm, grounded masculine core will fail those tests every time. He will react emotionally, chasing, explaining, defending himself, trying to control or prove himself worthy of being chosen, not realizing that every attempt to prove himself places him in the position of a boy seeking approval rather than a man who gives approval to himself. It is the constant need to validate oneself through her attention, through her replies, through her affection that makes a man easy to manipulate, easy to throw off balance, easy to lead into emotional chaos, where he will argue, plead, and talk endlessly, hoping she will finally see his worth. But she will not, because in those moments, he is proving he does not see it himself. And the moment you start trying to prove yourself, you are telling her you don't believe in your own value unless she confirms it for you. And that is the moment you lose your frame, your power, and your peace. When you cultivate still, unshakable energy within yourself, you stop seeking validation, approval, or attention from anyone, especially from women, because you have already given those things to yourself. You stop moving to gain her attention and start moving because it is aligned with your mission and your purpose, and that changes everything about how you show up in the world. You become a mirror, and a mirror cannot be played because it does not react, it does not chase, it does not flinch, it simply reflects what is in front of it with clarity, exposing exactly where someone stands without you having to say a word. When a woman disrespects you or begins to play games, you don't argue, you don't explain why you deserve better. You don't plead for her to treat you right. You simply detach, quietly, completely, and you let that silence speak for you, in a way words never could. This energy is not about being cold or closed off. It is about emotional self-control and mastery, about being so connected to your core that you no longer let the shifting moods of others pull you out of character, or force you to abandon your peace to prove your worth. You don't let delayed replies from her create panic within you, and you don't let her emotional distance push you into chasing her for validation. You stop feeling the need to check up on her, to follow up, to seek reassurance, because you are grounded in yourself, in your vision, and in your purpose. You learn to sit back, to observe patterns, to watch how she moves, and from that place of observation, you choose what you will allow into your life without rushing, without forcing, without emotional chaos dictating your decisions. You do not play her games because you refuse to sit at tables where your peace is at risk. and you do not gamble your emotional stability just to keep someone close who is testing your boundaries. One of the strongest indicators of this masculine energy is your non-urgency. When she tries to provoke you through silence, distance, sarcasm, or flirting with other men, you don't react with speed or panic. Instead, you slow down even further because you understand that speed is emotional, but stillness is power, and when you remain unmoved, she realizes she has no control over your rhythm. Only you do. The man who can walk away without bitterness, without drama, without needing to prove his worth one last time is a rare man, and it is precisely that rarity that creates power and respect in the dynamic. When you truly embrace this energy, you stop fearing loss because you realize that losing someone who cannot align with your standard is not a loss at all, but a necessary clearing for your peace and purpose. This lack of fear is what unsettles her, not because you are trying to play mind games, but because she feels that you do not need her to feel complete, you do not need her to validate your identity, and you do not need her to provide you with a sense of direction. Instead, you are already whole, already full, already grounded in your purpose, and from that place of fullness, you are able to choose her without needing to possess her or control her. This is when she feels the shift. She realizes that your presence in her life is not a cage, but a privilege, something she can lose if she chooses to bring chaos or disrespect into your space. She understands that you are not pretending to be cool while burning with need beneath the surface. You actually are cool, calm, and regulated within, not because you suppress your emotions, but because you have learned how to master and guide them rather than let them rule you. You are no longer distracted by her games, no longer obsessing over when she will reply, no longer adjusting your day around her availability, because you have a mission and a direction that is larger than romance and emotional validation. You know who you are, and that knowing makes you unshakable in the face of her tests, because if she cannot shape you with her emotional waves, she will either choose to align with you or remove herself from your presence, and either outcome serves your peace. This is when she truly understands that you are not here to chase her, fix her, or prove yourself to her. You are here to live your purpose, and if she wants to be part of that journey, it will require her to meet your energy with honesty and consistency, because you are no longer accessible to those who bring chaos, confusion, and inconsistency into your space. Selective presence becomes your superpower when you embrace this grounded masculine energy, because you learn that your attention is a gift, not something to be thrown at anyone who demands it or anyone who withdraws theirs to bait a reaction from you. You no longer reward games with your focus, no longer rush to fix things the moment she withdraws, no longer flood her with validation when she shows you inconsistency or disrespect. You learn to withdraw your energy not as a tactic to manipulate her, but as a way to protect your own standard, your own peace, and the life you have built for yourself. She will feel your absence not because you are trying to hurt her, but because your presence is valuable, and when she feels what it is like when you are gone, she will either adjust her behavior and rise to meet your standard, or she will be replaced by your silence and your commitment to yourself. Most men fail when tested by feminine energy because they panic the moment she creates distance, thinking they need to explain themselves, to debate, to prove they are worthy of being chosen. But you learn to see that these endless explanations only drain your power and place you in the position of the seeker rather than the chooser. You do not need long discussions to establish your worth. Your worth is non-negotiable, and you operate based on evidence, not empty words. If she apologizes but repeats patterns, you pull back quietly. If she flirts with others to test your reaction, you remain unmoved. If she delays commitment to keep you spinning, you vanish without bitterness because you refuse to be a participant in cycles that drain your energy and your time. You understand this is not manipulation. This is emotional sovereignty, the unshakable ability to maintain your frame no matter what waves crash against it. You are no longer emotionally available on demand, no longer rushing to respond or chase simply because she exists in your life. Instead, your energy becomes selective, reserved for those who bring respect, consistency, and peace. The dynamic shifts because you have shifted, and now she feels the difference when your attention is no longer a constant presence she can rely on for her validation or entertainment. And in that absence, she will either rise or leave, but you will remain at peace regardless. You stop building your life around waiting for her replies, and you stop structuring your day around whether she is giving you attention, because you have a mission that is bigger than seeking validation from a woman. Your purpose becomes the backbone of your life, the unshakable foundation that gives your actions direction and meaning. And when a woman senses that your mission comes first, not in a disrespectful way, but in a deeply grounded, non-negotiable way, she realizes she cannot use herself as leverage against you. She knows she can no longer manipulate you with her silence or mood swings, because you are not sitting around waiting for her to give your life purpose. You already have purpose. You already have direction. You already have a fire within you that drives you every single day. And when you carry that energy, you are no longer a pawn in her emotional games. You are the king who decides who is allowed to stay and who must leave when they bring chaos into your space. If she stops testing you, it is because she respects the frame you have built. And if she tests you harder, it only reveals her inability to meet you where you are. Either way, you remain steady on your path, observing, deciding, and moving forward without being swayed by emotional waves designed to pull you off track. Power comes from controlling access to yourself, not controlling her. And the man who knows how to control who gets to be in his space is the man who becomes unquithable in her eyes. She knows the moment she moves wrong, the game ends, not with a fight or with chaos, but with your quiet, non-reactive exit. You do not need to shout your standards, you live them. And it is in this quiet power that you stop being the man she tests and become the man she wants to keep. Not because you demanded her respect, but because your energy is too grounded, too intentional, and too valuable to fumble. This is how you become untouchable, by being so committed to your peace and your mission that nothing she does can pull you out of alignment with yourself.